that Liz Truss has had quite enough column inches over the past few weeks. We're probably going to have a new Prime Minister in a few weeks as well. Not that it's going to make any difference to us. Instead, what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I'll not be very long with this, because I know it can be a wee bit boring talking about stuff like this, but today I want to talk about us, about the independence movement, and I want to talk about what we do in 2 days' time when we get word from the Supreme Court, and whatever happens with that, what we're going to do, and where we go from there. In short, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about tactics and what we do. And in talking about that, I want to start with another imperial power, which is Rome. Now, as we all know, it wasn't built in a day, it was built in conquest, and it was built on the backs of slaves. Does it sound familiar? So anyway, as Rome pushed out, it filled up with all the people that it had displaced, and lots of slaves, and they were treated badly. They were the scum of the earth. They were looked down upon. But in Rome itself, it wasn't easy to tell a slave from a citizen because they all wore the same garb, they all wore the same kind of toga. And one senator didn't like this. He thought that you should be able to tell the slaves so you could treat them or mistreat them as appropriate. So he went along to the Senate and said that they should make slaves wear a different colour of toga. So the Senate were going to go along with this, and then another senator stood up and he said, we can't do this. And other people said, why not? And he said, because if we make slaves wear the different colour of toga, they'll be able to recognise each other, they'll be able to know how many of them there are, and once they realise that, they will organise and they will overthrow us. Friends, I think we are in very much the same position today. We are looked down upon. Our movement is suppressed. Our events, everything that we organise is constantly disrupted. This one was. Those of you who go on the all under one banner marches like myself, you know that how many times those have been disrupted and times changed and all the rest of it. We all know their games. And so we need to find ways of fighting back. And I'm going to go through a couple of things that we need to do in the next few weeks and over the next while leading up to independence. First thing we need to do is we need to wear our colours. Now today's such an occasion, and it's great to be out with you here, and it's great to see that the rain has stopped as well, which makes it even better. People will say to you, you know, it's just another march, it's just another rally. Yes, it is another march, yes, it is another rally, and we need to have lots of them. We need to be able to recognise each other, we need to know each other. Not only that, we need to make our presence felt. Look at all the people passing in the street here. What do you think they're thinking as they're passing us? They can see our presence, they can feel it. But not only that, we need to bring it now into other places, we need to intensify. How many of you have gone into the supermarket and every product that you find at the moment there has got a Union Jack? We need to get to a point where everything that we wear has got a saltire on it. That's what we need. Here's just a wee thought for all of you in here that are football fans. Imagine if every football fan that was an independent supporter, instead of taking their club flag in, took a saltire in their club colours in. Imagine every time that the MSN, Sky News, Sky B, BBC were filming Premier League matches. Imagine if every time they were doing that, all they could see was a sea of saltires. Imagine what that would look like. Imagine the message that was sent. That is what we need to do. And if you think that's not important, you think to yourself how much money they must have spent on all those products, all those Union Jacks, everything that we have seen over the past few weeks, and the sick to the back teeth of it. So that's the first thing we need to do. We need to wear our colours. Now, the second thing that we need to do is we need to identify and solidify our own vote. This is a wee bit more technical. It may seem an obvious thing to say, but I was looking at, being a kind of geek, I was looking at the Scottish referendum study, and I came across a couple of surprises, and I wanted to share them with you today, just while you're all here. I'm sure most of you know that in terms of our of opinion polls and our vote and stuff like that, that you probably know that we're strongest according to age, and that the biggest strength for support for yes is about 70% amongst the sort of 16 to 24 group, right? And you probably thought, and I thought this until I checked this, so I'll hold my hand up and say I'm guilty. I thought that this also showed in the referendum vote itself in 2014. Well, do you know something? It didn't. We actually lost that group, and we lost it by quite a bit. It was 2/3 no at the referendum. Now, how did that happen? I went through the figures, I looked at a few things, and I came to a simple conclusion, and it was because most of our voters, the people that would have voted yes, weren't registered. And also that the No campaign did a far better job of identifying their young voters and getting them registered and getting them out. Now, we need to take the lessons from it. And that is one area that we really, really need to work on. Here's some more facts and figures I looked up. I asked myself, how many people have become of voting age since 2014? Let me tell you how many. 400,000. In fact, it's over 400,000. So we technically probably have about 3/4 of that vote if we get them all registered, right? At the other end, which is mostly no, over 400,000 people in Scotland have popped their clogs. Add that together and you have got 800,000. What was the difference for the referendum vote? 383,000. In other words, if we got those people registered, we could win the vote standing down. And I do have to ask myself, every time I see the opinion polls, and I see that wee figure 40, that's always 47% or 48%, I think to myself, I don't really believe that. It's one of those nice figures, you know, that's just enough to keep us down, make us think that we're not quite there yet, but it's enough to keep people who are no voters on their toes. I think there's far more of us out there than we know, and we need to go out and find those people and register them. Finally, we need to make sure that when the referendum comes that we can get out the vote. And in order to do that, we need to know where it is. So we need to be getting round doors, streets, we need to be getting together. We need some unity for this because it's going to be painstaking, it will seem like slow work, but it's absolutely bang for your buck work to do to win this referendum. When that day comes, we need to be able to know the streets, to know the houses, to know the areas to run to bring people and win that vote. I've probably said enough now. I want to emphasise to you how good a position we are in. We are in a really, really good position. I think a far better position than we know. But we need to find out. We need to know who we all are, and we need to be together. And whether this vote is 23, whether it's 24, 25, 26, it doesn't matter. We need to hit the ground running. We need to start that spade work now. We needed to start it 2 years ago, but we definitely need to start it now. So let's talk. Let's enjoy the day. Let's win our freedom. Thank you.